is to ensure that we give a platform to the up-and-coming Saudi Arabian fighters. Boxing is new, not just in the Middle East and to Saudi Arabia, but for the region in whole. We have put on unprecedented events, and it is my distinct honor to sit here with you as the head of boxing for the kingdom, which I take a tremendous responsibility, and to continuing that. In 2019, the biggest fight of its time, the Clash of the Dunes, took place in Diriyah. Anthony Joshua regained his titles when he fought Andy Ruiz. And then last year, in 2022, in Jeddah, Anthony Joshua fought the undisputed world champion in Alexander Usyk. That is just the beginning of what the Saudi Arabian boxing scene has in store. But before I do get started, once again, I want to go back and talk about the Saudi Arabian prospects that are coming up and have this platform to be able to be showcased on. In our preliminary card, we have 3 of these Saudi Arabian fighters making their debuts on this platform, and I would like to welcome them on stage to familiarize you with them and for them to get familiar to the world, because this stage is just the beginning for them. So I'd like to introduce Mr. Salman Hamada, Ragad Al-Naimi, and Ziad Al-Majlashi. This is a huge platform for them, and they are going to be making their debuts here. And that will be on our preliminary card. Now, our prelims will be streamed on several channels across the globe, and mostly also on YouTube from Boxing Arabia. So anybody that hasn't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe and follow Boxing Arabia. That's where the prelims will be broadcast. The headliner for our prelims, and if you allow me to get into the fight card itself, will be a popular influencer in Adam Saleh, who's no stranger to the kingdom. He's been here several times. He's made Umrah a couple of times. He is back now, and he is taking on a formidable opponent, call it a nemesis if you will, in Stuart Kellogg, who goes by the name of Evil Hero. That will be the header of the prelim card, and then we'll get right into our main card. The opener for that will be Jordanian native Badr Samreen, who will continue his undefeated streak. He is 7-0 with 6 of those wins coming by knockout. He'll take on Romanian Viorola Simeon, who will be the biggest test to date for him. That will be followed by undefeated United States-based cruiserweight Muhsin, the Muslim boxer Kaysen. He is 10 wins, 0 losses, 7 knockouts. He'll be taking on Tariel Jafarov, who has an impressive 18 wins, 17 of those by knockout. He's a power puncher. That'll be a fun fight to watch. That'll be followed by one of the most special fights and fighters featured on this card. Ziad Al-Mayouf, the Saudi Arabian professional fighter, will continue his career. He is 1-0. He made his debut on the AJ Usyk card and put on a phenomenal performance. He is back in the kingdom, and he'll be taking on a gentleman from Ecuador in Ronald Martinez for his biggest test and to continue his career in that undefeated fashion. So we want to welcome all of our prelim and undercard fighters. The undercard concludes with the co-feature or the co-main event of the evening, and that is the reigning defending WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the World, Ilunga Junior Makabu. He will be making his 3rd title defense against former 2-division world champion Badu Jack the Ripper. I'm delighted to have sitting next to me Ms. Rasha Al-Khamis. She is the Vice President of the Saudi Arabian Boxing Federation. She also sits on the board of directors for the Asian Boxing Committee. Rasha, welcome to the panel again.
Thank you.
Rasha, let me ask you a question if we can get this started. You have a tremendous stage in this Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury fight. There is a global audience. How do you think this impacts these up-and-coming Saudi Arabian prospects and fighters?
Thank you, Amir. We, as the Boxing Federation, have invested in the grassroots, and we have a strategy that focuses on grassroots all the way to putting them into main events and start competing at an international level. If you take us back to Clash of the Dunes in 2019, you would look at the impact that was generated from Clash of the Dunes. The number of athletes has grew by 300%, the number of clubs has grew by 50%, and the number of fitness boxing has grew by 18,000. Our aspiration as the Boxing Federation is to increase the number of boxers to 500,000 by 2023. And we believe through these big events that will inspire many athletes to pick up the sport and to be part of it.
Outstanding. So let me ask you this, Tasha. You have these up-and-coming Saudi prospects, and you saw them on stage. You have Ziad Al-Mayouf. How proud are you of this scene that's coming up, of these fighters, and what's happening here in the kingdom?
That's a very good question. So that's a very good question. I usually work in boxing like almost every day. Those athletes have become role models to the younger girls and boys athletes. And then if you would look at the athletes, the younger generation, they're very well known to big names. And given the fact that these boxers are from their own country, that will inspire many to pick up the sport and to be part of it.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Rasha.
Thank you.
Let's take it over to our headliner for the prelims. That's Adam Saleh versus Stuart Kellogg. We have here at the end of the panel with us Adam Saleh. Adam, welcome to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Adam, you are an influencer turned boxer, and I know that has quite a stereotype, you know, for a lot of the die-hard boxing fans. What do you think about this whole movement of influencers turned boxers?
First of all, I just want to give a huge thank you to the Ministry of Sport in Saudi. A huge thank you to Prince Khalid. It's a dream come true because I watched Clash on the Dunes, Rage on the Red Sea, and to be part of the truth, it's a dream come true. I think it's good for boxing. It's bringing more eyes into boxing.
Adam, the fight that you're fighting is against the gentleman who goes by the name of Evil Hero. I understand there is a rivalry there. Can you explain what the beef is between you guys?
I don't know. There's no beef. We used to follow each other on Instagram, and then he unfollowed me once we started. But it's fun. Boxing is a sport. At the end of the day, you know, you show love and respect.
And that's 2023 boxing scene of influencers turned. When you stop following someone, expect to fight. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Looking forward to that fight. That'll be a fun one to watch. I'd like to go right into our pay-per-view opener, and that is a gentleman that really was highlighted. He was the swing bout on the Usyk-Joshua card, and he ended up coming on the main card, and what a performance he put on. Badr Samreen is back, which many consider he stole the show on the undercard for Rage on the Red Sea in November. Badr, welcome back to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, thank you. First of all, assalamu alaikum to everyone here and to people watching us. Huge thanks to Prime Minister of Sport and Prince Khalid for this huge event. And I'm happy to be back in Saudi Arabia.
It's great to have you back, Badr. You put on an amazing performance in the last fight. You had, I mean, the reviews that we were reading online were just amazing, and all the feedback that you had. What was your personal feedback that you received after that fight? How did that change your career?
I mean, honestly, every fight that I fight in my early stage, I look at it as a world title fight. And each fight taught me more in the sport. And I just keep on climbing the stairs, work harder every day, and try my best to get to the top.
So you have your hands full in Viral Simeon. It is the biggest test of your career. He has been in there with a lot of veterans. He's much more experienced. Without disclosing too much, what is going to be your strategy going in fighting a guy a lot more experienced than you?
I mean, there's just so much a man can take, honestly, and I know him, but he doesn't know me. So it's gonna surprise him what I have in my ability. So yeah, I have a good strategy with my coach, and you're gonna see it Sunday night.
Looking forward to that performance once again. Badr Samreen.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Let's turn it over to the end of the panel here. Undefeated cruiserweight prospect, Muhsin, the Muslim boxer Kaysen. He is the younger brother of former heavyweight champion of the world, Hazim Rahman. So Muhsin, welcome to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me.
Muhsin, this is the biggest fight of your career. It's on the biggest stage of your career. It's your first pay-per-view event, and it is a massive opportunity. Have you prepared for this fight any differently than you have prepared for any of your previous 10 fights?
Bismillah. First of all, I want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi. I want to thank the Ministry of Boxing and, of course, Prince Khalid for welcoming me and having me in and having great hospitality for me. No, I don't train any different. This is another fight for my career and my pursuit to become a world champion. And, you know, we just train the same.
Muhsin, your opponent is a power puncher. Out of the 18 fights he's had, he's finished 17 within the distance. 17 of his 18 fights have ended by knockout. How do you plan on neutralizing his power?
Like Mike Tyson says, everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. So we, once the bell starts, we on.
We will see. We wish you the absolute best of luck, Muhsin.
Thank you.
Let's turn it back over now to the Saudi Arabian prospect. There is a lot of hype around this kid. There's a lot of responsibility around this young man. Ziad Al-Mayouf, welcome back to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Ziad, you're back in the kingdom. It's another test in your backyard. I know you train with the legendary Buddy McGirt. How does it feel to be back in Saudi Arabia and fighting back at home?
First and foremost, I want to thank God, alhamdulillah, for everything I have and everything I will get, inshallah. I want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I want to thank the royal family. I want to thank King Salman and His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman for giving me the opportunity to empower and represent Vision 2030. I want to thank the Minister of Sports and the Ministry of Sports, His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al Faisal, for giving me that vision and the green light to show the people what we can do. I want to thank Skill Challenge Entertainment, Prince Khalid and Prince Fahad. You know you changed my life, and I have to show you that I keep deserving this. It feels amazing to be back. You know, the pressure is on, but the beautiful thing about pressure is it gives you something to rise up to. And I choose to walk that path. I choose to carry the weight of my whole country and the whole Arab side of the world on my back. And there are two things I know. I'm God-gifted and I'm heavy-fisted. And that's the recipe for a good disaster. So Saturday night, Sunday night, we will see, you know. And it's just good to be back. It's good to be back. We talk about the American fighters. We talk about the European fighters. Now it's time to talk about the Saudi Arabian fighters.
Every time Ziad gets in front of a mic, take your notebooks out because he's going to say something profound. Ziad, one more question, and you had touched on it. You are the hype, you are the prospect of Saudi Arabian fighters. You are. You are undefeated right now. I mean, it's 1-0, but you are beginning your career, and there has been a tremendous amount of support for you by the ministry, definitely by Prince Khalid, and all of Skill Challenge Entertainment. Is that a lot of pressure for you? And if so, how are you dealing with that?
First of all, again, alhamdulillah for just being at this position. I know that many people could have this position and God chose me, so I have to keep earning it every single day. The pressure is always going to be on in anything we do. If you're doing bad, the pressure is there to do better. And if you're doing good, the pressure is there to maintain it. So it's just the road you choose to walk with. And I choose to walk the road where I accept pressure. I welcome pressure. And when your back's against the wall, there's only one way, and that's forward. And inshallah, we will do that Sunday night.
Inshallah. Wow. That is definitely going to be an interesting fight to watch. Ronald Martinez is the opponent who stands in the way of Ziad to continue his streak and his undefeated record. Best of luck to you, Ziad, inshallah.
Thank you all.
All right, let's take it over now to the co-main event, the co-feature, just before Jake Paul takes on Tommy Fury, the WBC Cruiserweight Championship of the world. This is a fight that many don't know has been in the works for quite some time. The champion, Junior Ilunga Makabu, represented by Don King Productions, managed by Tariq Asadi, takes on the challenger, former 2-division world champion, Badu Jack the Ripper. This fight will be one to watch. So whether you'll be watching on ESPN pay-per-view in the United States, BT Sports in the United Kingdom, or in the 175 countries around the world with our broadcast partners, you will not want to miss this fight. Let me start with the champion. Junior Makabu, he is the reigning defending champion. This is his 3rd title defense. He won the title in 2020. Junior, you are familiar with Badu. Tariq and I have been talking about this fight for quite a while. We are finally able to make the fight happen here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. What kind of fight does this turn out to be? Is it a chess match? Is it a boxing match? Is it a war? What kind of fight will this end up being?
Thank you. I greet you, all of you. I just want to say thanks to God who gave me this opportunity to be here tonight. And I'm also saying thank you to the Prince and the King of Arabi Saudi for this invitation to be here in Arabi Saudi. You guys show me love and invite me to be here. I'm very happy. That's why tonight I'll preach love to everyone who's here and to everyone who's listening to us in the hall. Then we have to love one another, not watching black, white, Christian, Catholic, Muslim. We have to be together because God is watching us to be together. I'm saying that because I've been working with my manager for 15 years. He's Muslim. I'm a Christian, but we work together. That's why I'm teaching love to the world. I'm going to answer your question. Sunday night, I want all people who love boxing in Arabi Saudi to stay and remind with the story of Junior Makabu in a month. I just want Badu to keep one thing in the month. I'm going to break your nose. I'm going to break your chin. I'm going to break your ribs. Thank you.
Let's turn it over to Badu. There was a follow-up question, but I think this deserves a response from the former 2-division world champion. Junior Makabu has stated that he's going to break your nose, he's going to break your jaw, and he's going to break your ribs. As the challenger, how would you respond to that?
Assalamu alaikum. I want to thank Prince Khalid, the Ministry of Sport, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for welcoming me here and the hospitality. And shout out to Mike Tyson and Devin Haney here. I'm here to take his belt, to win. I'm here to become the first Muslim fighter to become a world champion in Saudi. So I'm here to make history. And yeah, everybody got a plan till they get hit. So I'm glad that he's confident.
Junior, we'll go back over to you. This is your first time fighting in the Middle East, and it is a massive stage. Is the magnitude of this fight a big pressure on you? Is it a big pressure making your 3rd world defense title and being on a stage this large?
I've been world champion for many years. Everyone see. And I'm a dangerous boxer in the world. There's no way Badu can take my belt. I'll go back with it home and I'll steal the WBC world champion.
Badu, will come back over to you. You've had a very accomplished career. You fought 8 world champions back to back in highlight reel fights. You're a philanthropist with your Badu Jack Foundation. You've done a lot of great things outside of the ring. What else do you want to do in your career?
Like I said, I still feel young. I feel fresh. I want to keep going, and I'm here to make history. So some people, they win title in 1 weight class. I won in 2 weight classes. Now I'm coming for the 3rd and the new.
Junior, I'm going to ask you another question, and it's outside of the fight because I know you're very confident in the fight. I know Badu's very confident in the fight. I know we're going to have one of the best featured fights of the evening. But let me kind of step it away and put the focus on the main event with Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. This is a hybrid event where you have these guys that are on the main event. What are your thoughts on this kind of hybrid event and with the influencer turned boxer scene?
To say true, I got nothing to say about Fury and Jack Paul because I'm focused with my fight. I want to beat Badu and go pound for pound, challenge all WBC, WBA, IBF all champion because it's what I want in my dream. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The co-main event, you heard it from both guys, the champion, Makabu, the challenger, Jack. They will strap it up, they will lace up as the co-feature of Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury in Diario on Sunday, February 26th. A big round of applause to all of our undercard and our prelim panel. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to transition into our second panel, and this is an extremely special panel. I have never seen anything like this before, and I am sure and I'm confident it hasn't been done before. We have a special feature, our special guests, champions of the past, champions of the future, and current champions, along with a very special presentation. So without further ado, the video introducing our second panel. I'd like by, first of all, introducing our panel. Of course, first and foremost, in our center position, the chairman, the founder of Skill Challenge Entertainment Enterprises, and the vision that this man has for boxing, not just in Saudi Arabia, not just in the Middle East, but his vision for boxing around the world is unprecedented. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to welcome His Highness Prince Khalid bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. Seated next to him is a man that really needs no introduction. He is the baddest man on the planet, even though today he might say he's not, but he is the baddest man on the planet, a living legend and boxing icon in his own right. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcoming the one and only Mike Tyson. I have the honor of sitting next to one of our current champions, undisputed lightweight champion of the world, undefeated, 29 wins against 0 losses. What he's done by going to the champion's backyard not once, but twice, taking the title and then defending the title against him is, again, unprecedented. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Devin the Dream Haney. And finally, I think he has a Saudi Arabian passport now because he dresses like one of the locals. World title contender, our event promoter, one of the biggest personalities in boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Sheikh Derek Chisora. I told you that color would look good on you.
Thank you.
Let me begin by Prince Khalid, if you don't mind. You and I have had numerous conversations. I have the absolute honor of being the head of boxing for Skill Challenge Entertainment. And I jumped into this without any reservation when we had one conversation, your vision. And that vision was one that I had never heard before. I'm not going to steal the thunder and explain that vision. I will humbly ask you to address all of our dignitaries, all of our guests, and the world with the vision of Skill Challenge Entertainment Enterprises.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, let me tell you what's Skill Challenge. Skill Challenge is a product of Vision 2030. It's a product of Vision 2030. So our vision comes from a bigger vision, from the leading visionary. That's genius. Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the Prime Minister. So, Skill Challenge now is trying to branch, trying to be bigger. And one of the things that we're trying to do is branch it with a promotion and a management company. So I'm here to announce that we're making Skill Challenge Promotion, SCP, and our first signing is Mr. Ziad Al-Mayouf.
MashaAllah.
I really don't know what to say, really. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Ziad. The first signee of Skill Challenge Promotions, which has officially launched. Prince Khalid, you did, in 2019, you did Clash of the Dunes. In 2022, you did Rage on the Red Sea. Today, this weekend, inshallah, we're doing The Truth at Diario. This vision, coupled with the vision of 2030 from Prince Mohammed, how is this different than the landscape of traditional boxing?
First of all, I didn't do it alone. First of all, it's, to me, I will say the truth. It's Prince Abdulaziz bin Turki Al-Faisal. He's the one that began all that. I'll tell you a story about how we did it, how we began. I came to Prince Abdulaziz with grassroots studies, to do the grassroots in Saudi Arabia for boxing. He looked at me, He said, leave this alone and just bring me the biggest fights. So that's how it began. So what's going to happen with Skill Challenge? We're still starting. That's the beginning. And to me, everybody mentions Vegas, New York, or London for the big fights. Now Saudi Arabia is on top of them and will stay on top of them. And now Saudi Arabia will be the base and the hub of the biggest boxing fights in the world.
Prince Khalid, you have a wonderful relationship with most, if not every single promoter, managers, and many of the fighters. You see a lot of your friends and fighters in the crowd today. How do you think that the progression of you working with every network, every promoter, every manager will change how boxing, the business of boxing, is done?
Our aim is not to be like the boxing world now. Every promoter doesn't like the other promoter or doesn't work with the other promoter. Skill Challenge will be working with everybody, bringing the big fights, working with every network. And what's our aim? It's to do the fights, our aim is for the fighters and for the fans to have the biggest fights. Because now it isn't happening, and that's a problem with boxing.
Fights do take a long time. You see some of the best fights in the world, they take years and years and years to evolve, exactly as you had said. So your vision is to work with everybody without any reservation to put on the best fighters for the fans to see.
Yeah, that's our aim and our vision to go through that. But the thing is now, I'm sorry for that. I'm honored to sit beside the biggest legend in boxing, Mr. Mike Tyson. You're an icon. You are a hero to me. I remember staying till 4 in the morning. I think half of the people here stayed 4 in the morning in this country just to watch you fight. And I can't say how big it is for you to come here. And thank you for coming.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
And I will thank my friend, Sheikh Direct Zora. Sheikh Jadar for coming here. He's a great man.
Thank you.
He's a great fighter. He has the heart of a warrior. Never saw a guy fight with his heart in my life like Derek Chisora. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, sir.
I want a Sheikh outfit.
And I want to thank David, the champ, for being here, because I want people to know that this guy went to his nemesis, to his country, 2 times, and fought for the championship, and he did it. To meet you here, it's once in a lifetime. Thank you for being here. And we hope we have you here fighting, not being here.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
And that is the vision of Skill Challenge Promotions moving forward. The biggest fights, the best fights, all networks, all promoters, all fighters, to deliver the fights that the fans want to see and deserve for the sport of boxing. Let me turn it over to you, Mike.
Yes, I'm here.
What are your thoughts during your time? Of course, there was the promotion, there's the business of boxing. We've talked about it for several years.
Yes.
How does this, the vision of Prince Khalid, change the landscape of boxing?
Well, it changes in one fundamental perspective, that in boxing, all of the money, if everything's not on the table in boxing, there's always something underneath the table. The whole thing is not on the table, and that's where boxing has this first fundamental problem, not telling the truth. Being promoters and managers, they all work together, believe it or not. Even though they're nemesis, they still work together.
Is that possible, Mike? Is it possible for promoters to be able to work together?
Hey, listen, it has nothing to do with being a moral person. If you have a good moral compass, anybody can work together. It's just that they're not going into this negotiation with good intentions. For the fighter, at least.
Sure. Devin, this is your first time in Saudi Arabia. Welcome to the country. Welcome to the kingdom.
Thank you for having me.
Prince Khalid, by the way, when our list of guests came up, he said, I would love to have Devin here. He thinks the world of you going into hostile territory, going to Australia to fight for the title, and then not only did you fight for the title, you went back and defended it in his country. Your father led your career, and he's done a wonderful job leading the career. And he's stayed away kind of from certain obstacles, aligned with certain promoters. Even in terms of trainers, you've had your share of trainers along your career. Yes. So you're really kind of out there working with everybody. Is that almost aligned with the vision of Prince Khalid of making sure that you leave your options open and working with everybody?
Yes, the sport of boxing it would be much bigger and much better if all the promoters and everybody worked together to make the biggest fights happen, and that's what Prince Khalid is doing. And I think it's going to push boxing much further, and the best fights are going to happen.
What's next for Devin Haney?
Yeah, what's next is Vasyl Lomachenko on May 20th, and inshallah, we can do it here in Saudi Arabia.
Derek, I'll turn it over to you. You are one of the most outspoken personalities in the sport. You have been around Prince Khalid for quite a while, probably longer than most fighters have been around, and you've seen his vision. He's talked to you about the vision, and in your own right, currently, you are the example of this vision of not signing exclusively to any promoter and working with several of them. What are your thoughts on Prince Khalid's vision and Skill Challenge Promotions moving forward in this vision?
Sorry, one second. It's a great vision. One thing I always understand in boxing, you get a phone call, he goes, oh, you're fighting on this day, and we're going to pay this much money. And you're trying to get more money, they don't give you more money. But what Prince Khalid is coming with, saying, listen, come fight here, this is what's in the pot, and this is your money in the next couple of days. And that's great. Promoters, other promoters, they take off the table. I remember having a fight, massive fight. By the time I got my money, I ended up walking away with almost like 30,000 pounds, from 300,000. So, what Prince Khalid is saying, it's amazing. And I'm all for that, to be honest with you. If you want to get paid, come see the boss.
Mike?
That's a stereotype. I think we're better in business than anybody else.
No, 100%. I've seen it through AJ Usyk, and I'm happy to be part of this venture, to be honest with you.
Mike, I'll ask you a question that I think most people know the answer to, but I'd like to hear you elaborate more on it. Does the business of boxing prevent the best fights from happening?
Absolutely. First of all, before you even get the best fight, the fighter should be the first person to get his check and write check. Somebody shouldn't get that check before him and then say, hey, you get this. That should never happen. That's happening now in boxing. Why should somebody I used to understand, even when I was like, why should they have your check and pay you when you gave him the job of being your promoter? You should pay him. You should have his money paying him because he works for you. Everybody works for the fighter. Everybody thinks the fighter works for them. The fighter's the boss.
And skill challenge promotion will be for the fighter and for the fans to give them the biggest fight. That will be our motto. That will be our thing. That's the problem with the fights right now. You stay for 5-6 years to have one big fight. And the problem, to me, what I saw in our business is not just calling the fighter and let's fight. We have promoters, we have networks, we have things to do. And it's so hard that fans get bored, fans get worried. And what's good with doing the fights for the fans is now fans is going to the UFC, going to other combat sports, boxing fans. And for me, my vision is to bring back fans to boxing and be bigger and better.
And that will change the landscape of how boxing is done. What a vision, of course, aligned with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia's vision of 2030. I'll wrap it up, Prince Khalid, if you don't mind asking you this question. You said that the fights would be based out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This will become the new focal point of boxing. Will Skill Challenge Promotions only promote fights exclusively in the Kingdom?
The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will be the main attraction to me, to Skill Challenge, because with the guidance of the MOS, the Ministry of Sports, that's what made us. The Ministry of Sports made the Skill Challenge. So we'll try to make the biggest, best fights in Saudi Arabia, but we'll work outside Saudi Arabia. And now we have like some signings with other countries around us, but still Saudi Arabia will be the base of the biggest fights.
So
I'll give Saudi Arabia the Champions League and all other countries the Euro League. So that's how it's going.
So you heard it here, Skill Challenge Promotions based out of and having all of the main fights in the Kingdom, but it will be a global movement, a global promotion based out of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Outstanding. We have a special presentation, and this was something new that I had found out about recently. We have, of course, the president of the World Boxing Council, Mr. Mauricio Suleiman, is here with us today. Of course, he's overlooking the co-main event. The WBC has always taken on extra initiatives, new initiatives to always do things outside of the regular landscape of boxing. They have teamed up with a company called Opus. Now, I had never heard of Opus before, but the more I started learning about this, the more amazing it was. I know that Carl's going to get upset at me, but it's a book. It's the world's largest book, and it's not just the world's largest book. This is a handmade book. It is the largest publication of the best 100 fights in the history of boxing. These fights have been chosen by over 60 world champions. The panel to introduce these fights and to actually classify these fights, categorize them, was chosen by world champions. One of the most amazing things about this book, 75% of the pictures in this book have never been seen before. These are world championship fights from the 100 best fights in history, and 75% of these pictures have never been seen by the public. Furthermore, I said there's only 100 of these made. Version number 001 is now here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and it will begin its world tour throughout the year. It will end in Mexico City, where after it's toured around the whole world, it will be auctioned off. It'll be auctioned off, and 100% of the proceeds will go to children's charities. I'm very happy to announce that Skill Challenge Promotions has chosen a Saudi Arabian-based foundation, Al Bayda Foundation, who will receive a portion of these proceeds as well. And this book now, version 001, which has been signed by all of the champions, I'd like to welcome on, before I actually make the announcement, the head of the WBC, the president, Mr. Mauricio Suleiman, as well as the CEO of Opus, Mr. Carl Fowler. The WBC and Opus are requesting the honor of Prince Khalid bin Abdul Aziz to not only sign the book, but have the only signature on the actual plate of the WBC emblem before it begins its tour around the world. Your Highness. There it is. The WBC Opus Book of Champions, now exclusively signed by His Highness Prince Khalid bin Abdulaziz, joined by his son, Bandar. You should see this kid box. He beat up Tommy Fury the other day. The book will begin its global tour immediately. Version number 001 is here in the kingdom, and this is where it will begin, and it'll be passed around the world. I would also like to say that Mr. Carl Fowler is donating one of the books to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to have here for a keepsake. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this panel, and next, the panel that we've been waiting for, the main event, Sunday, February 26th, in Diriyah. The talk is over. It's time for the truth. The talk is over. The truth at Diriyah.
We always raise the bar here in Saudi Arabia. We always host a great fight.
For the heavyweight championship of the world, from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
The world will be watching.
Anytime, anywhere, any place.
The problem, child. Why they call you that? Because I'm a problem for people in the ring.
February 26th, his boxing career is over.
You'll see who the real professional boxer is.
Without the cameras, this guy's nothing.
The talk is over.
This guy's getting knocked out.
The truth will set you free. Oh, I'm knocking this dude out. Make sure to get your tickets for the truth. February 26th, Diriyah. You don't want to miss this one.